Haymakers prevail on homecoming night. I'm Steve with Go-Lex.com, and this is the review of Lexington's game Friday in Cozad. The Minutemen started hot but quickly cooled off as Cozad ran away with a 40-7 decision Friday. It was the fourth loss of the season for Lexington, but this outcome stung a little more than the others. This loss was to Cozad. Many of the current players don't understand a long-standing rivalry that has been cast aside by state scheduling, but it was also to a Class C school. More distressing, Lexington had lost the previous 3 games by a total of 13 combined points and was in contention until the final whistle in each game. At Cozad, the Haymakers put a pounding on Lexington in the third quarter. Almost half of Cozad's production on offense came in the third quarter, leading to 3 scores. To start the game, Lexington took advantage of a block punt, setting up shop at the Cozad 19-yard line on their second drive of the game. A 5-play drive, including a 4th and 8 conversion, was capped with a 3-yard touchdown from Jace Carpenter. The tide turned at that point as Cozad put together a 9-play, 61-yard drive capped with a 26-yard connection from Noah Shoemaker to Cash Chitka to tie the game at 7-7. Each team struggled with 3-and-out possessions before Lexington's Caden West was picked off by Drew White, setting up the Haymakers at the 27-yard line of Lexington. The Minutemen appeared to hold Cozad after an errant snap flew over the head of Shoemaker, but the Haymakers were saved with a late hit penalty on the play. A few plays later, Shoemaker found Cord Chitka for a 10-yard touchdown. The extra point was no good, and that's where the game stood at halftime. The third quarter belonged to Cozad, with Shoemaker finding Isaac White for an 18-yard score on the first drive. 5 minutes later, Drew White shook free of defenders for a 15-yard score, and before the end of the quarter, Cash Chitka sprinted 35 yards to put the game out of reach. Lexington's Davin Naylor was intercepted 2 plays into the fourth quarter to set up Cozad for a final touchdown as Shoemaker found Cash Chitka again in the end zone, this time from 26 yards out. The Orange and Black defense had been a bend but not break unit through the first 3 games, but Friday was a different story. They gave up 333 yards to the Haymakers, 209 coming on the ground. Lexington's defense was led by Naylor with 9 total tackles, followed by Andrew Hansen with 8. Luis Castellanos recorded the lone tackle for loss for the Minutemen, and Jamie Cano was credited with the hurrying of 1 Cozad pass attempt. On offense, Lexington quarterbacks combined for 14 of 25 and 115 yards, but the 2 interceptions really hurt. The ground attack was held in check for only 29 yards, 16 of which came from sophomore Tony Espinoza on the final drive. Jace Carpenter led the receiving corps with 3 catches for 41 yards. Lexington returns home this week to face a wounded Hastings squad who is also winless this season. The Tigers were shut out by Seward this past week, 20-0. Hastings is averaging 160 yards per game and have scored just 1 touchdown this season. Looking at the rest of the season, dropping the game to Cozad smarts a bit as Lexington needs to find a direction going into district play. If the Minutemen hope to work their way into the playoff picture, there's very little wiggle room from here on out. A win over Hastings, a team that's not eligible for the playoffs and is suiting up like every game's a playoff game, will act as a good primer for what this season will be remembered for. Friday's kickoff is set for 7 p.m. at Regular Stadium. For GoLex.com, I'm Steve, and remember, go big, go orange.